In the unlikely scenario in the following discussions, including the yin and yang thereof, things can go worse knowing that Mr. Duterte has a chronic medical condition. Further, his counsel there, Ati Medialdea, was seen emerging from an ambulance yesterday and about to be admitted to a hospital in Netherlands, praying for each player to be calm and that this essay should not be a harbinger of unfortunate things to come in Manila. Immediate reactions in the Philippines. His loyalists might frame his death as a political conspiracy or a failure of international justice. This could lead to protests, vigils, or even attempts to lionize him as a national hero. Families affected by Duterte's controversial policies, like the war on drugs, might see his death as a bittersweet moment. While it could symbolize accountability, it might also leave them yearning for a more direct form of justice. The Philippine administration in power would likely face immense pressure to manage public sentiment. They might issue statements emphasizing unity and respect for the rule of law, while carefully navigating the polarized political landscape. Given Duterte's pivot towards China during his presidency, Beijing might express condolences while subtly reinforcing its influence in the Philippines. They could use this moment to highlight their strategic partnership and downplay any controversies surrounding his legacy. The ICC might face criticism or support, depending on how his death is perceived. Some nations might question the ICC's ability to ensure the safety of detainees, while others could see it as a reaffirmation of the court's role in addressing crimes against humanity. After so much work done by forensics, including forensic science specialists, criminologists, and forensic medical specialists, like those who graduated from universities such as Lyceum of the Philippines, Batangas, the repatriation of Duterte's body to the Philippines follows, could become a flashpoint for public demonstrations. Supporters might organize grand ceremonies to honor him, while critics could stage counter-protests. The media coverage would likely reignite debates about his policies and their impact on Philippine society. Duterte's death could influence upcoming elections, with candidates either distancing themselves from his legacy or embracing it to rally his base. This incident might strain the Philippines' relationship with the ICC, potentially leading to debates about the country's continued participation in international justice mechanisms. This scenario is layered with complexities, and the reactions would likely evolve over time, delving deeper in all numbered items in the context of yin and yang, and exploring these scenarios in the philosophical context of yin and yang, where opposing yet complementary forces interact to create balance, adds depth to the discussion. Here's a more nuanced dive into each point. Immediate reactions in the Philippines. Duterte's supporters might turn his death into an emotional rallying point, leading to polarization and unrest. The loss of a key figure could destabilize their movement, leading to infighting or disarray. Relatives of victims, while relieved that Duterte no longer wields influence, might feel denied the sense of closure and full justice through the ICC trial. The government might struggle to maintain equilibrium, with conflicting factions pressuring it to either honor or denounce Duterte's legacy. This could be a moment for national introspection. His death might inspire collective efforts to address the divisions caused by his tenure and to rebuild trust in institutions. Victims' families might find solidarity and strength in pushing for long-term reforms that prevent future abuses of power. For the government, this might be an opportunity to present a balanced narrative, promoting unity and healing across the political spectrum. The ICC could face criticism for failing to protect a high-profile detainee, potentially harming its credibility and the broader case for international justice. China, as an ally of Duterte during his presidency, might leverage his death to emphasize its geopolitical interests. This could lead to increased tension between pro-Western and pro-China camps in the Philippines. Globally, Duterte's death might reignite debates about the effectiveness and fairness of the ICC, with some nations questioning its neutrality. The ICC could emerge stronger by demonstrating transparency and accountability in handling the aftermath, reaffirming its role in pursuing justice for victims of human rights violations. What you all think? What are the defense strategies for Duterte? Duterte's legal team might argue that the ICC lacks jurisdiction over the Philippines, especially since the country withdrew from the Rome Statute in 2019. They could claim that the ICC should not have authority over actions taken while the Philippines was a member. The defense could argue that the Philippines has a functioning judicial system capable of addressing any alleged crimes. They might assert that the ICC should defer to the national courts. From memory, the national courts tend to favor the rich by pouring sums of money under the table. Although the Rome Statute states that official capacity does not exempt individuals from prosecution, Duterte's defense might argue that his actions were within the scope of his presidential powers and aimed at protecting national security. From memory, the gray area was his rhetorics on "kill those drug users and drug lords" by forming groups from other city suburbs and work on a certain locality, and therefore the local police can contend that no local police staff are involved in those killings. There were rumors, as early as 1980s when vigilantes were at work, as well that Chinese-looking and Chinese-speaking persons were seen in police paraphernalia behind some killings to practice their shooting skills. Totoo ba yan? Totoo ba yan? Bakit pinapayagan yan and hindi iniimbestigahan? Mga Pilipino nga naman, mga Pilipino nga naman, kung makakalusot, lulusutin talaga. The defense could scrutinize the credibility of witnesses and the reliability of evidence presented by the prosecution. They might argue that testimonies are biased or coerced. Duterte's team might argue that his anti-drug campaign was a necessary measure to protect public safety and uphold human rights by combating drug-related crimes. It is true Duterte's aim was that. However, a plan can fail. On the other hand, the prosecution strategies by the anti-Duterte camp are present evidence of extrajudicial killings during Duterte's tenure, emphasizing the systematic nature of these actions as part of his war on drugs. Testimonies from victims' families and reports from human rights organizations could be used to illustrate the widespread impact of Duterte's policies. Evidence connecting Duterte to the Davao Death Squad, which allegedly carried out killings during his time as mayor, could be crucial. The prosecution might argue that Duterte's actions constitute crimes against humanity under international law, focusing on the scale and severity of the killings. They could counter the defense's sovereignty argument by demonstrating the Philippine judicial system's failure to address these crimes adequately. What is the role of forensic science? Specialists. Forensic experts could analyze bullet trajectories, gunshot residues, and crime scene reconstructions to establish patterns consistent with extrajudicial killings. DNA evidence from crime scenes could link specific individuals to the killings, providing concrete proof of involvement. Analysis of digital communications, such as emails and phone records, could reveal orders or discussions related to the killings. Forensic pathologists could present autopsy reports showing the manner and cause of death, supporting claims of extrajudicial executions. Forensic experts could testify about the scientific methods used to gather and analyze evidence, bolstering the credibility of the prosecution's case. An independent National Forensic Institute is needed in the Philippines to work out similar cases in the future. But this needs political will on the part of the Congress and the Senate. This institute will hire forensic science professionals, which are graduates of forensic science colleges and forensic pathologists. See our earlier videos on these qualifications and the colleges involved in criminal justice education as Lyceum of the Philippines, Batangas, in the Calabarzon area. During the first quarter of this year, a study for the proposed National Science Institute was signed by President Marcos Jr., so that will be good news for those aiming to do forensic science work for the better justice system in our country. Recapping the ICC trial of Rodrigo Duterte will likely involve complex legal arguments, extensive evidence, and expert testimonies. Both the defense and prosecution will need to strategically present their cases, leveraging forensic science to support their claims. While Duterte's defense may focus on jurisdictional issues and the legitimacy of his actions, the prosecution will aim to highlight the human rights violations and systematic nature of the killings. Given the health condition of Duterte, he may die while confined in Netherlands and be buried as a hero in the Philippines. The relatives of the victims of Duterte can claim monetary payout against his estate for compensation. Mabuhay ang mga Pilipino. What are your thoughts on this? Give your comments below.